This was the original Teller County Jail. This is built in 1901. We still used it till 1992. Think about that. It's 91 years as an operational facility. It is the original building, so she's about 125 years old. And so, I mean, it was built and designed to be the jail. That was the only life it was supposed to have. So where we started off in the gift shop, that's where the deputies would have worked. Around the corner was where a jailer would have been. That would have been his office full-time. I lost my breath coming up the stairs, sorry. And then later on, dispatch moved in that part of the building as well. Where you guys are all hunkered down over in there, that originally I would like to call the crazy cell. Back in the day, we didn't understand mental disorders. It was very common for a sheriff or a deputy to be called out to bring somebody in here for safekeeping or observation. So once the sheriff determined they were not safe to go back out into society, he had that person examined by 2 physicians. If they determined that they were in fact crazy, send them over to the county courthouses, which is that really beautiful building across the street over there. Once they were adjudged insane, we sent them down to Pueblo, where the state mental institution still is today. Happened quite often. I've been really lucky to actually digitize the books of all the inmates that were in and out of here. And it's always safekeeping, insane, crazy. It's weird how many there were. Later on, as we began to understand mental disorders, that became our processing room. So when you got arrested, that's where you get your fingerprints, your mugshot, and your uniform. Okay? So as I said, this is a county facility. That means we have to have housing for anybody who breaks the law. Up these wooden stairs are 4 cells. 3 of those are for women, and 1 is for children. We did incarcerate women and kids full-time until about the 1970s. After that time, they had 24 hours to bond out. If they didn't, we shipped them down to El Paso County. Get them out of here. Kiddos are actually here for 3 reasons. If a mother committed a crime, their children would come in and serve time with them. We did not have social services. Also, if we found an abandoned kid, you'd have to remember back in the day, we had 35,000 residents just here in the city of Cripple Creek proper. Okay, this was the 2nd largest city in the state of Colorado for many years. So it was a western bang-up town, mining community, and so it wasn't safe for kids to be wandering around abandoned, so we'd get them off the streets and keep them safe. And then we had kids who were breaking the law, vandalism, shoplifting, killing a cow or a chicken. That was somebody's food, At truancy, that was a big one. The youngest kiddo I found so far on the books as being incarcerated was 9 years old. She spent 4 days in here for incorrigibility. She was caught in the house of ill repute. It was innocent, but that was the way of saying, don't do that. 1 extra room up there is a matron's quarters. Anytime we had any women or kids, we always had a female jailer watching over them. We did not put a male jailer upstairs. Okay, come on into the fun part. It looks bigger on the inside than the outside, doesn't it? So this is our men's facility. We have a total of 14 cells. There's 10 directly behind me. There's 4 upstairs, including solitary. You'll know that one when you see it, and that's a great place to hang out. This originally was designed to house 100 men. That's an average of 6 men per cell. The cells are only 6.5 foot by 9. Was it ever filled to capacity? Absolutely. Remember, we had 35,000 just in the city of Cripple Creek. This is a county jail. So that means we serviced Cripple Creek, Victor, Florissant, Divide, and Woodland Park. Okay? So you'll notice, just 1 cell has hammocks in there. That's how we got 6 guys in there, 3 on top, 3 on the bottom. Later on, as the area population diminished, we did go to bunks, doubles, and singles. That was through 92. 2 toilets, 2 showers to the facility. Those were shared. But we had indoor plumbing and electricity in 1901. Nice. This was a state-of-the-art facility. It's better than some people's homes, right? So we housed everything from drunken disorder through murderers. Once you were convicted of a higher crime, we did send you down to Canyon City. That's where you would complete your sentencing. Okay, so we did have the worst of the worst. We had female murderers and male murderers. Yeah. And you guys, I don't know if are all of you familiar, like from Colorado? Because I never know. I don't know if you ever remember a kid. He was just recently released, actually, Jacob Eind. He actually served time here. He killed his mother and stepfather in Woodland Park. But he served some time here, and then he just got out.
How old is he now?
He is 30-something.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I remember reading that somewhere on the internet or somewhere.
Yeah, so that was kind of... So as I mentioned, it is 125 years old. This is the original. It's built and designed the way it was supposed to be, and it still works. It's operational. So there's actually three of these throughout the building, one on each side, one upstairs. This is what houses your mechanisms to run your doors. First, you had to have a combination, then you had to have a key. Once you get past that, you can actually access the mechanisms. It is a 3-lever system. The very far lever on the right is a locking mechanism. So as soon as I close the doors, I can stand out here and lock them down. The middle one, I can pick and choose one door or all the doors consecutively on this side of the cell block. And the last one is what moves the doors back and forth. It is a complete cam and lever system. Okay? So I'll do this to wake them up. So maybe you guys will have a good hunt. There's always that little lull right after. It's like, oh.
That's awesome. With the little notches in, you can pick one cell, you said?
So this one's just going to close that first one right there.
Cool.
And then once you have to close one at a time, it gets really tricky. Isn't that cool?
Super.
It's engineering, 125 years old. Yeah. So that is the tour that we give on a regular daily basis. Then I ask you guys, what do you want to know about the paranormal? Do you want to go in blind? Or do you want to know?
We've read some things, so I think it would be nice.
Yeah, I want to know too.
Yeah. Okay.
Does anybody not want to know?
Yeah, that's kind of.
Go outside.
So I've been a paranormal investigator for 14 years. This building has produced everything. It has been full body apparitions, half body apparitions, faces. There's mannequins, by the way. I'll show you guys that, because otherwise you'd be like, so faces transposed on the mannequins, things like that. People have been touched, scratched, mustaches pulled, disembodied voices, Class 1 EVPs, Class A, they're everywhere. They know how to play with the equipment. You can use trigger objects. They're very responsive to that. I don't think there's any kind of ghost hunting equipment they haven't experienced, so they're good. Personally, I've been touched. I've had my name yelled out in, it was actually kind of funny. I laughed later, but it was a disembodied voice. I was here, it was January, February, we were always really slow in the winter months. I had one couple in the building, they were upstairs. I went down to the basement, that's where we store all our things. I go down there to get some stuff to put up in the gift shop, and I hear this, Michelle! And I was like, oh crap, I didn't hear the door open or anything. So I ran up the stairs and I'm like, nobody's there. So I step out on the porch, I'm looking like, nobody's there. It's like, okay, stop, think. I heard my name, it was muffled, it was a male voice. That happened. And so I went back downstairs like, good one, guys. But I've been working for the city for 14 years. This is where I started. These are my people. So I'm very protective of them, just so you know. But the full body apparition, that was a good night too. The woman will never come back in this building again that saw it. And there's men, women, and children haunting this building. So safety, then, I'm going to switch gears. Just so you know, there are also, every one of the cells going in has a tripping hazard. So just be sure you're aware of that. Hope you all brought flashlights. We try to mark everything. The stairs over here, the last one is a doozy. It's at least a couple inches higher than the rest of them. So you can misstep off of that, just be careful. We're all pretty. You two will be fine. Downstairs, you're not going to be fine, but.
Because we're both so good looking.
Because exactly, exactly. But just be aware of, your headspace and stuff like that, because men back in the day weren't as tall as they are today. They're kind of like my height, our height here. All right. 2 restrooms. We do have one right up here that you're welcome to use, but it has a transom window, which means we hear all your business. And there's one around the corner back there. It is a one person at a time bathroom, but you're welcome to use those. And then I'm going to take you down to the basement for safety because there are a lot of tripping hazards down there.
Who was the famous boxer?
Jack Dempsey. Yep. Petty larceny. He stole a gentleman's jacket in December. But he was a mucker in the mines up here.
He was what, I'm sorry?
A mucker in the mines. They take all the mud. And so that was exciting. When I found him, I was like, no way. I've also been doing research for 14 years, and there's still a lot I haven't even touched bases with at all. But if you see any of the mugshots around, these are people that did serve time in this building in particular. A lot of those came from either the sheriff's department, I've purchased some, and then some have just been donated from other sources. So we're pretty lucky. So if we go through this way, I'm going to take you guys down the basement just so you get a safety tour of that.
Is this the catwalk that is referenced on the website and everything, or is that something else? Okay. Oh.
It's the mystery door. I just asked to use the handrail. The stairs are very narrow and they kind of slant down, so just for safety purposes. Ugh, my nose is running. It is a basement. No glory down here. So like I mentioned, all the good-looking people, watch your head. Is anybody as sensitive?
Ish.
Why don't you go back in that room?
What?
Like right now?
Yeah, absolutely. It's always my experiment.
It feels neutral right now.
Okay.
That's what I'll say.
Interesting. So this was an ice room back in the day where we stored ice, ice blocks. Also, it stored bodies in the wintertime. The permafrost here is so deep you can't really dig good holes in the cemetery in the wintertime. So that's where we would store bodies. Okay. I'm going to wait later to hear what you have to say.
It wasn't just prisoner bodies, it was bodies from the whole town, right?
There's several.
stairs?
There's several buildings. Well, there's actually a big back door right there. Yeah.
Just for all working out.
It's back there. What is
Oh, you're-
any?
Besides the bunny ears.
Besides bunny ears. It's a donkey. It's a donkey.
I'm just seeing big ears like bunnies.
It's mostly city storage.
Oh, cool. That's cool.
So we store that for Victorian Society. We store that for marketing. This is all donkey 2 Mile High Club stuff. This is Ice Festival.
Oh, right on.
And there has been activity down here. We've had one of our investigators actually saw a full body apparition, and she came upstairs. She goes, "Hey, Michelle, where'd you get that really cool mannequin over, that's dressed in the Victorian dress?" I was like, "What are you talking about?" She goes, "No, over there in the corner." I was like, "I don't have one." We came back down. She goes, "Okay," and it was over in that corner. So shadow figures. We've had kids play games down here. What we do is we set up flashlights and they can go around, touch them, and set them off. So that's fun.
And that's the room, right, with the books?
With the books, yeah. Yeah. But if the doors are open, you're welcome. This is complete storage for another group, so I don't mess with that. All right, and again, those are the tripping hazards that big. Did you know this is Carnegie steel?
I did not know this is Carnegie steel, but I am a licensed architect with 30 years experience, and every time I'm in here, I take pictures of the I-beams, which is actually called a wide flange beam, the big columns, the column pads, and all that stuff.
And what is that for a layperson? What is
This is an I-beam.
Right, but like, what is the steel? What is that mean?
Carnegie was one of the largest steel producing companies in the world.
So
I
that's
don't know
your
much
name.
about steel.
Well, he also has, we have a Carnegie Library down in the Springs.
Okay.
Yeah, so long story, these are beams also, this is the bottom of beams. This is concrete. So they had these beams and they would put what's called corrugated steel and pour this concrete. So this structure is supported by this, is supported by this, is supported by this,
Yeah.
all the way into concrete in the ground. So, and this is old stuff. We don't do this anymore. That's what's so cool about it. And these big pads, we don't do
Yeah.
that anymore. So it's really cool stuff from, for an architect or engineer. It's just old technology.
That's awesome. Aren't there like a couple of guards that walk around here maybe?
That'd be in the main
That-
cell block.
Yeah. That used to work here, like way back when.
So when I first started here, there was a gentleman volunteering for me, Leon, and he worked for free.
Yeah.
He'd be a docent. He would come in, dress the whole 9 yards, everything. And he's ex-military. He retired from the Army, and he's basically, what is the word I'm looking for? He's into technology,
Yeah.
radio, all that kind of stuff. So they did a ghost hunt here, or not a ghost hunt, excuse me, a haunted house. This is before I started. And his job was, they had like all sorts of electronic stuff going off and everything. And it was his job, he had a little laptop in the bullpen. And so after they did a whole tour, he would have to go in there and reset all the equipment. And so he was in there, and he's down like this, and all of a sudden this guy comes up to him and goes, "Well, when's it my turn to scare somebody?" And he goes, he looks, and he goes, he was gone. And he goes, "You just did." Yeah,
Cool.
yeah, full body apparition. And this guy's like not a goofball, just
Right.
Just. And later on, he learned, it was really interesting. He moved down to Canyon City, and his stepdaughter was dating this young man. And come to find out, his grandfather used to work here, and he described him, showed him a picture. He goes, "Oh my God, that's him."
That's him. Wow.
He goes, "That's him."
No kidding.
Yeah. Yeah. He said it freaked him out, but he was like,
Wow.
yeah.
Very cool.
Yeah, it is very cool. For the most part, they don't mess with me very often.
Yeah.
I ask them not to,
Right.
But
Yeah, you got to get things done and not be disturbed all the time.
well, yes, because it was just probably about a month ago. We had it was a really busy day. It was during Ice Festival, and so it got all the energy stirred up and everything. So about, I think it was like the Monday or Tuesday after I come in here, and I was just trying to get changed together and everything. And I'm kind of on autopilot. And all of a sudden I hear this noise in the main cell block, and the door's closed, but like a carpet moving, and just, like the cages were making noise and stuff. And I was like, "Oh, custodial must be in here." And I thought, "No, Michelle, you turn the alarm off. Nobody else is in here." And so I was like, "Okay." I was like, "I get it, you're pissed off. It's okay."
So you're probably gonna have some activity for you tomorrow after we're here. Or
I won't be here.
I brought my violin.
You're welcome to do that.
Yeah. I don't know if you've had ever people playing instruments. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Is that
Sometimes.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I found that I'm not very good. So I always tell people I play live for the dead.
Right.
People don't want to hear it.
Right.
So But yeah, it's a fun way to practice, but also like the vibration is different, right?
For sure.
It's something different that they can, react to.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
So I've been trying to figure that out.
I've had people bring in like recorded music
Oh, yeah.
sometimes, like the old early 1900s kind of stuff.
Sure.
But I have had people bring in instruments before.
Nice.
Yeah. I've actually had a video, like
Yeah.
a video recorded here with the band. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, it's like the acoustics, like you can hear it everywhere.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure it echoes and
Yeah.
all the things. So
Absolutely.
that's exciting.